It's a good first image. I want to pull the curtain back a little bit and say I'm hosting now.
Forever?
Yeah, taking over. This will be the last three-person Riff Arcade. No, so we are recording this on November, is it 12th? Is it 12th?
Yeah.
So yesterday, Kevin Conroy, longtime voice of Batman, passed away. And so you're not going to see this until sometime in December, but it's very appropriate right now. So we're playing Arkham Asylum, which is voiced by Kevin Conroy. The best Batman, in my opinion. And if you guys know anything about me, I love Batman. You guys have been to my house. So you can attest how much
We're surrounded by Batman.
Yeah. There's 5 Batman within arm's reach of us right now.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a little spiel about how awesome Kevin Conroy and Batman is, because our generation grew up with him as Batman. And he does a voice in this game. In fact, a lot of the voices from this game were in the Batman the Animated Series show, or they try to recreate the voices from the show. So that show has a lot of oomph. Look at Arkham. Look at that.
A diffused glow.
Yeah.
The soft focus.
Very high-tech Arkham. Normally they just stick him in a cell. So if you guys don't know anything about Kevin Conroy, he did the voice of Batman for 30 years, and outside of The Simpsons, I can't think of another... control that. I can't think of another actor that has played a single character for that long. I mean, just the length of his career as Batman is great. He grew up in Connecticut.
A lot of people here really want to talk to you.
God, that guy's eyes. Notice that guy's eye. He grew up in Connecticut and went to Juilliard, the very... It's not expensive, but the prestigious acting school. He was roommates with Robin Williams.
No way.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. He said one day in class, the first 2 years of Juilliard, they do a lot of like weeding out of actors and stuff to make sure you can handle it. And then the second 2 years, they really go into the craft of acting. And so he said, like, yeah, just like me and him would just do like little one-act shows like in front of our teachers, and like he remembers specifically one of them was he was Captain Hook, and Robin Williams' roommate was Peter Pan. So Batman and Peter Pan had a nice interaction. He got a full scholarship to Juilliard too, so like he was also very tall and had a really deep voice for his age. He was pretty young when he went to Juilliard too, so that probably helped out too. But he went into TV. He moved out to LA. Was a TV star. He didn't get any like big recurring roles, but he kept working. He moved back to New York and started to try to do some Broadway stuff. And then one day someone just said, "Hey, you should try out for this cartoon." And he didn't think he could make it. He was like, "Whatever, I'll go to the. I don't think anything's going to come of this audition." And it was for Batman the Animated Series, and that was his first voice acting role, was Batman.
Wow.
He didn't know, he wasn't a comic book guy, and he wasn't a cartoon, he wasn't against them, but he was the guy doing that stuff. He just was like, he didn't know anything about it. So Bruce Timm, the person that was in charge of Batman the Animated Series, had to kind of fill him in on, all right, here's Batman, his parents were killed in front of him, he's swore vengeance, and he leads this double life. And being the classically trained Shakespearean actor Kevin Conroy was,
The thespian.
yeah, he went, "Oh, this is Hamlet." And Bruce Timm was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever helps you out." And when I heard that, I was like, "Oh my God, Batman is Hamlet." Like, it just makes way more sense to think of it that way. So that's how Conroy approached the character, is this guy's Hamlet. He's like, he leads this double life for this obsession with vengeance. I think the writers of the show eventually picked up on that, because there's some episodes where you're like, this is real Shakespearean tragedy going on here. Kevin Conroy was also one of the first, like, some people give it to Michael Keaton. I don't. I give it to Conroy. He's the first actor that gave Bruce Wayne and Batman 2 different voices.
Really?
Yeah, because not being a comic book fan, he was like, wait, everyone knows who Bruce Wayne is. If Batman opens his mouth, they're going to know Bruce Wayne's Batman. So he asked Bruce Timm, could I give him 2 voices? And Bruce was like, yeah, we can try it out. And if you hear it, there is a subtle difference.
There is. It's a little more jovial, a little more bouncy when he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he plays up the whole rich boy, like,
Whatever, just be quick.
airhead when he's Bruce Wayne, but he's very focused as Batman. And you can hear it when when there's a scene where when Bruce Wayne says something and then Batman says something else, you can really tell there's a difference in voice. So he voiced the character for 30 years. He actually says he doesn't like voicing characters in video games because they record them much differently. When they recorded Batman the Animated Series, they did like a radio play. So all the actors were in one room. And Mark Hamill would say something as the Joker, and Kevin Conroy could play off of that in the moment. Yeah. But for a video game, you sit there, he said, for 4 hours a day, you're in a booth, read the lines, and each line is isolated. You're having to talk to the voiceover artist or director about, like, how am I feeling? Who am I talking to? And it's like it's just him. So 4 hours a day you talk, and then you get like every day for a week, and then you get a week break. And then you come in and do it again. So he doesn't like doing, or he didn't like doing video games, but he does a great job at it.
Yeah, he did amazingly. Yeah, I mean, I just doing Riff Arcade, I definitely agree with that. Like, being with you guys in the same room makes it so much easier to do an episode than when we're all separate.
Yeah.
And even that is like, at least we're talking to each other. We're not just like saying all of our lines back to back.
Yeah.
I've got your scent, Batman. I will hunt you.
Oh man, you didn't put deodorant on before you left today? Golly.
Probably did, yeah.
A toy.
Old Spice, I know how to track you.
the bat spray.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's okay. That's a good point. So, you kind of can't separate Kevin from Batman the Animated Series show. So, in the early 90s, the cartoons that we had as kids were like Thundercats and Transformers and He-Man. So these really goofy, it's for kids. It's not like they didn't care about the stuff, but they were like, it's for kids. We don't have to like, there's acting for this, and then there's like Broadway acting. And then Tim Burton's Batman comes out, and at the same time, DC wanted to develop a Batman cartoon. And when the popularity of Tim Burton's movie raised Batman's profile, they just threw gobs of money at the animated series.
Nice.
So they hired like a full orchestra. They hired a bunch of actors. And one of the best things they did was they got a woman named Andrea Romano. And she is, if there's any cartoon you love with great voice acting, she's probably the person directing it. Because she came in and said, we're going to treat this like a radio play. We're going to have all the actors in a room. They never did that before. When they hired people to do, like they hire somebody from like a local like news show. They'd be like, okay, you're going to be an anchor on, the Gotham City TV for just this scene. And they would be like, oh, I'm doing a cartoon, so Joker's escape. They would do that. And she'd be like, no. Treat it like a regular newscast. So like she made them take it seriously. And I think as a kid, you kind of realize like this show is pretty dark and serious. And it wasn't like He-Man. Like He-Man's great. We all love He-Man. But they took kids seriously. And they're like, you guys can handle this kind of drama and darkness in a TV show. And that really comes through.
Yeah, just to kind of add some context to tie it to the 90s and our generation, like we do on Riff Arcade. To put it in perspective for the people who aren't of our generation, when we were kids in like the early and mid 90s, we had our only options for Batman visual media was, there was, like you said, the Tim Burton movie, like maybe Batman Returns had come out or was about to come out at that time. But if you were our age, you were only like 5, 6, 7 at that time. So like you're not popping into the theater to see Tim Burton's Batman. So when this cartoon, Batman the Animated Series, came on, like that was what we had. So that really is where a lot of us got our start and first kind of was introduced to the depth of Batman.
Yeah, I grew up, when I was really little, I watched the Adam West Show, and I was so young and dumb that they would be like, Batman's in a giant pie. How will he get out of it? And I was like, oh my God, how will he get out of it? I don't know how to do it. So like I took it seriously. And then, a couple years later, Batman the Animated Series comes out, and I'm a little bit older, so that hit right at the right time. And I was like, this is awesome. The voice casting is great. The stories are awesome. So like a lot of my love for Batman comes from that TV show. A lot of that's from Kevin. And from Arkham. Arkham will just show. He's a great Joker.
Oh yeah.
So some people will be like, oh, Michael Keaton's the best Batman. If you're a little bit older than us, you probably think Keaton's the best, but nah, Kevin Conroy's the best. They have that great balance of seriousness and like, yeah, Batman is kind of goofy. Some of these stories are kind of silly, but everything in the Batman series is balanced.
That was the wonderful thing about that show was the just the range that show had, because you'd have episodes that were just silly and fun, and then you'd have episodes where it was just Batman. We'll get there. It was just Batman being Batman, doing the Batman action things, and then every now and then you'd have these really heartfelt episodes where like some kid is like in a really bad spot and Batman helps him out and like is a role model and father figure to this kid, you know, just like extreme depth.
You'd have like 1 week Batman's fighting a werewolf, which is an actual episode, and then the next week it's like he's fighting institutional poverty because he keeps beating up the same criminal, and he's like, why do I keep having to beat you up? And like he has to fight that. So and then the next week you've got Joker, who's just like picking on one little guy that Batman has to save.
Yep.
So do you have like a favorite animated series episode?
I've got a couple. One of my favorites, everyone who loves the show, their favorite is, whoa, Lord. Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
Oh,
yeah, that's a good answer, Buzz. Lord Jesus.
Is a show episode called Almost Got Him, where all the criminals are kind of hanging out. Ow. And they're swapping Batman stories about like, yeah, I almost killed him this one time. And it's just a bunch of like little short stories about like how Penguin almost killed Batman, Joker almost killed Batman, and stuff like that. One of my favorite episodes is actually called The Great Ghost, and it brings Adam West in, and somebody keeps blowing up toy factories based on the Gray Ghost, and so like Batman finds the Gray Ghost and basically says like, hey, I grew up watching you, like you're an inspiration to me. It's one of those heartfelt ones.
The Grey Ghost was like the Batman of the Batman universe. Yeah. Like the TV shows and comics were written about the Grey Ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, Riddler trophy.
How many of those are in this game? Are there like hundreds of them like the others?
I think there's 100 of them. This game's a little bit... Oh, I guess I gotta go there. This game's a little bit smaller than some of the other Arkham
Have you
games.
ever collected all of the Riddler trophies of any of the games?
Yes. Arkham Knight I collected all of them.
Collected all of
And that was
them?
one of the most trophies.
Man, good on you, sir.
They are... Some of them I did have to look up. I'm like, I have no idea how to do this.
I didn't have the patience to finish all of that, yeah.
You didn't riddle him that?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
So we're gonna wrap up the episode. I've got one more feel-good story about Kevin Conroy, because the fandom loves Kevin Conroy. He really liked the character. I think part of the reason he played it so long was because he realized how much the character meant to people. So Kevin told a story where it was after he was living in New York, right after 9/11 happened. He's working at this like soup kitchen. And everyone's sad and depressed. Real like 9/11 just happened to Energy. And so some guy finally asks him, like, well, hey, what do you do for a living? And Kevin's like, oh, I'm a voice actor. I do cartoons. And the guy was like, I knew it. You're the voice of Batman. And Kevin's like, yeah, I'm the voice of Batman. And so the guy runs out into the eating area where everyone's quiet and their heads are down and they're bummed out. And he says, guys, Batman is serving us dinner. And someone said, like, no, he's not. Shut up. And so Kevin goes, all right. So he starts doing the Batman voice. He does the famous, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman. And there was a pause. And then Kevin said the whole room burst out into laughing. And people stood up and, like, ran in the back. And they wanted to shake his hand and say, like, I was with my kid. And, oh, man, I love this episode. And so somebody said, the first guy said, you're Santa Claus at this moment right now. So like, it just, he realized how much the character meant to people. And so like for 30 years, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. He's the best Batman. He's so great. We're going to miss him. I am probably going to keep playing Arkham Asylum. Probably all the games. I joked with my wife that, like, if Kevin Conroy ever dies, I'm going to replay all the Batman games. And that's no longer a joke. I'm going to do that.
Of
Yeah,
course. Are you going to play them in order, like chronologically?
Yes, I'm doing this one, then Arkham City, which is the best one, and then Arkham Knight.
Cool.
I don't have anything against Arkham Origins, but Kevin Conroy's not in it. That would be weird
Oh yeah.
to play him. So this is our ode, our homage to Kevin Conroy. My favorite Batman from my favorite comic book character. You guys are like, yeah, it's fine.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I agree with that. No, you like the Batman way more than I do, so obviously,
Yeah.
like you get more mileage out of it.
It's
but
a problem in my house. Yeah.
but yeah,
But also
I mean,
not a problem.
he is my Batman.
Yes. Hashtag my Batman.